Now, other interesting cultural news, you have the Snow White actress Rachel Zegler, sad that, she's insufferable beyond all belief. Now, she is the famous actress who's taking over as a live-action remake for Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Because, of course, again, Disney has no original thoughts or ideas. They're a lot like, trying to think of something pejorative in terms that's, I feel like a kid treating a school assignment. Like, they have a copy, and you just make a copy of a copy, and you make a copy of a copy of a copy. And a fun little home experiment, if you take a photocopy of a photocopy of a photocopy, every time you take a scan and you copy it, the image gets more and more degraded, which is perhaps the most appropriate metaphor for Disney. They don't have any new ideas. They've lost $2 billion this year on their movies. That's how bad. And they used to print money. But having mediocre stories as well as getting involved in politics isn't great for business. Who would have guessed? Well, perhaps anyone with a modicum of intelligence or, 18 or more brain cells. So she's taking over, and of course they're butchering the movie. So a lot like the female Ghostbusters, it's just the name of the previous property. There's nothing that's going to be around. So apparently the prince is no longer going to be the one who saves her. Rachel Zegler called the prince from the original film a creepy stalker. So there's not going to be a prince. They replaced the Seven Dwarfs with, I believe, one dwarf and 7 normal height people with different genders, races, and everything, which, again, is ridiculous. That's just because of that little douchebag Peter Dinklage. He is a legit dwarf, and he thought it was pejorative that they were going to give those roles to legit acting dwarves. He said, oh yeah, it's pejorative. You think all dwarves live in caves? Which shows how dumb he is. They didn't live in the caves in the original Snow White. They worked in the caves. And that's very pejorative for him to say. There's many good men who work in caves actually called coal miners. How dare he be so disrespectful? Now in the movie, the original film, 1930s, they were in the caves going for diamonds, which, again, that's a pretty good way to make a living. So they did not live in the caves, Peter Dinklage. They worked there. Although, for the record, there's nothing wrong, I suppose, living in a cage, to be politically correct, of course. Partially digress. I'm kidding, obviously. Now, it looks like everyone has started to notice Rachel Zegler with all these comments. She's saying, oh yeah, she hated the original film. She flip-flopped more than a politician. First she said, oh yeah, she was a big fan. And then she later admitted, oh yeah, I saw it once as a child, and once as an adult, and I hated it. So, of course, like most politicians and Hollywood folks, she's as hypocritical as all hell. Now, the only good thing many good things coming from this actor, actress, writer strike is they're not supposed to comment on the current films because supposedly it's good for publicity. Although for her, the more she shuts up, the better the movie will do. Because again, a lot of people are just finding her insufferable. She's insulting the original intellectual property. She's admitting that the new one has nothing to do with it. The new, I believe, is a evil stepmom or step queen, whatever the movie. She's actually more attractive than the Snow White. So that whole theory, the original idea of the book was she was jealous of her looks, so she poisoned Snow White. In this case, maybe it's reversal. Maybe they're changing the story so much, perhaps Snow White poisons her? I don't know. But it would be as logical as every other decision they've made in Disney. Now, Rachel Zegler, she's recently come out with a sweater, and it says, quote, no more tears left to cry, unquote. Which is ridiculous for many reasons. First of all, it's a this sweater could be best appropriately described as a sweater you would see a 48-year-old man wearing New Balances, mowing his lawn in October. Which, don't get me wrong, hey, I'm on my 17th or 18th pair of New Balance 990s for my workout. Made in the USA. Great shoes, by the way. But she's supposed to be an actress, and they're supposed to be, fashion-esque. But it's like a dad sweater. And it's long sleeve. And it's really warm where she lives, and she's wearing, I don't know what you call those bloody things, the Lulu shorts, not leggings, but they stop at the knees. So she's wearing a sweater in hot weather. Now again, I know, expecting her to make a logical decision, I expected too much for her, but it is hilarious how many times she's been caught lying, and how she just has so much self-pity now. The multimillionaire who's blubbed by 18 idiots. Well, maybe 19. I don't know how many fans she has yet. But again, it just shows you the ridiculous of Hollywood. And ironically enough, the movie will probably do better the less she talks. But it'll be interesting to see, as I always say. Time shall tell. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Again, we're trying to get to 3,000 subscribers by the end of August, so you can click that button. I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, all the likes and the comments help out the channel as well, not just with the feedback, as it helps me become more proficient at the job and make the show more entertaining and higher quality, but also helps with the algorithm and gets those videos shared more often, so you get more views. And the more we build it up, the better the quality we'll be able to get. Also, don't forget to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.